Okay, so for anyone who's new, yeah, I'm just going to quickly go over what I did yesterday. One of the things I'm going to try and do is keep this to about an hour-long stream. So, uh, first of all, as usual, got to pitch the book since that's what it's all about. So it is, let me find it. The website is Ionic Vue Book. So if you go to ionicviewbook.com, let's get this guy rolling up. This is my book. Like I said, I'm shooting to publish it by the end of the month. At a minimum, I will publish a beta version of the book by the end of the month. So please be gentle with me because I know it won't be completely edited, but I want to get the content out and get some feedback to see if I'm heading in the right direction. The concept is that it will be Ionic Vue book, and then it'll just be a series of books under that brand of Ionic Vue book. The first one is a SQLite and Capacitor book. Um, as much as I try to stay away from Firebase, there seems to be just a tremendous amount of people that like to see Firebase. So I might just start adding chapters on the end of this book. And so what you'll see is I'll swipe out the SQLite and maybe I'll put in a Firebase. And so it'll basically be the exact same application. But what I'll do is the chapter on, hold on, let me mute my phone. Where is it? Except a chapter on the data service where I integrate with the SQLite plugin. What I'll do is I will just modify the data service to support Firebase. And then for those of you who have seen my other content, I will add on Supabase IO, which is another database platform. So just so that people can start to feel comfortable with, hey, how flexible things can be with Ionic Framework, how you can leverage your JavaScript experience, and things of that nature. So that's the book pitch. I've met my marketing goal. The second thing is just to quickly walk back through the application that we built yesterday. Basically, what I did was I took the, where is that? Here's my terminal. Yeah, I took the terminal. I built out a default Ionic app using the CLI. What did I build? Where is it? Zip. The an app called Simple with Modal. The starter template that I used was list. And then what I wanted to do was kind of create this modal dialog. So here's a modal dialog that you see that takes the input for list items, shows you a little bit of use of, let me change this to a smaller. What do I do? Let's change this guy to Galaxy 5. It's the smaller device. All right, so this way you can see the debugger in a little bit too. So it allows you to enter some data. It saves the data in a form. Let's go to the modal. The modal dialog has a little bit of complexity in it. We capture data using the V model. A couple of other things we do interesting here. We show the use of a ref. We show the use of computed. We also show how to emit events. Hey Doug, thanks for stopping by. We also show how to emit events so we can create our own custom events. You can see here on our modal, where's our modal dialog? We create our custom events for modal saves and modal cancels so we can get the data back from the form and utilize it in the application. We showed how to use a toast, showed about binding. So you can see here when I click the dialog and if I hit cancel, we get the little toast that appears on the bottom, which is kind of cool. But I think the big thing that came out of this first video, and also just to let you know, the source code is posted online. So if you go to the previous video, inside the description, you can get a link to the source code. What I wanted to show was the way to utilize a modal dialog in a form to capture the data and then to send the data back to the parent. I see that question asked a lot about how do you, well, two things. How do you close a modal dialog from inside the modal dialog? And so the solution that I used here, once again, was when you was emitting events. And the other thing I see is how do you get data back from the modal dialog? And once again, it's the same thing. As you can see here, when you emit a save event, I take all the information from the form and I pass it back as the payload. So if we go into the, actually, let's do it from this side. If we go into the parent, which is the home, and we see that if the user clicks the modal saved, I call this function handle modal saved, and in handle modal save, it gets a payload in the event, and that is the data that I need to save to the database. So if we set a breakpoint here, and we go back to our modal, and we add some content from me, test content, date, let's bring this down so we can see the date, select March 16th is the date, some text for the body, we save modal. But you can see when I fall down into the breakpoint that the payload that got passed to me is all the data from the form. So it's a good start to key concepts that you can use for capturing data as input. So like I said, check out the code and see what you can do with it. The one thing that I didn't do yesterday that I wanted to show was actually how to get this thing to run on an emulator. One of the cool things about Ionic and Ionic Capacitor, Vue, and all of this stuff is like, hey, we can always build websites, but how do we actually get this thing running on device? So I'm going to see if we can get this thing going. Since I'm a Mac guy and I usually do stuff on iOS, this time around I'm actually going to try to deploy to Android and hope that my Android emulators play fine. Hopefully this is clear. Actually, let me do it the other way. Where's my text? I believe this is my sample project that I'm in. So let's make this a little bit bigger so we get sure everyone can see it. And then I think, so the first thing, for the first time out, you have to actually build it to make sure you get the build directory set up, which is what Capacitor is going to need. So we're going to run the build. I apologize because this is probably going to take a little bit longer. When you run a video, you can just kind of cut this part out. Since this is live, we got to kind of deal with it. So if anyone who's in the chat wants to say hi or say anything, now's a good time to do it as we wait for this thing to build. Oh, that was fast. So now we have the build. So now let's do an Ionic cap sync. I think I can just go straight to a run. Ionic cap run Android, and then it should recognize that I don't have Android Capacitor stuff for Android, and it should go ahead and install it itself. So yeah, so I did Ionic cap run Android. It sees it's not there, so now it's adding all the Android dependencies. So we'll let that kind of run. Well, that was fast. And now it's soon the cap open. Gonna just add a little comment here. Who likes Vue with TypeScript? Because I've been seeing a lot of people asking to see examples without TypeScript, and so that's why I've been trying to lean towards that. I'd just be happy to get some people's thoughts, either here in the live stream. You can just leave some comments, or when you come back and check out the video, you can leave some comments. But like I said, I'm trying to do more stuff with less of a focus on TypeScript now. I don't want TypeScript to be the hurdle that's keeping people from really engaging, because I think there's a lot of cool things you can do without understanding TypeScript. So I implore you to give it a try, ignore the TypeScript for now, and then as you get more comfortable with it, then you can start to integrate TypeScript. As someone that's built some pretty large, complex applications, I can assure you that in the end, you will be happy that you've used TypeScript. But if you're just getting started, I can completely understand why TypeScript is a hurdle that you just simply don't want to deal with now. All right, so now I'm in Android Studio, which is always a joy. This is one of those things where you hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So now we're in Android Studio. Let's see if we can get this thing going. Let's see if I remember how to do this the first time. Oh no, Gradle's still doing its magic. Okay, so we let that run. And let's see. All right, that's upset. I don't know what it is, but every time I run a program, I get this Android Gradle plugin is ready to be updated. I think the code that comes out of Capacitor isn't updated, so I usually just run the update anyway. It doesn't take that long to do it. So let's just run this update so that we don't have any confusion on why the things aren't working. So this process is running. We have no Google stuff, so we don't have to worry about that. Lesson I learned from yesterday's live stream was I did not have water, and after an hour of talking, my throat was not very happy. So hopefully today we'll do a little bit better. Let me see if I can get up a little bit higher here. Not just see the top of my head the whole time. I might be needing a new chair. Okay, so everything's ready now. Let's see if we can get this thing running on my emulator to kind of get the full Ionic capacitor experience here. Emulator popping up. Last time I tried this, I got some weird behavior from my side menu, which is what you're seeing here. But let's hope this time around we get a better experience. And then I'm also just going to quickly, since we haven't been at it that long, I'm also going to quickly pop into a example using iOS for the iOS folks who are watching along. All right, let's see if I can do this and get this out of the way. Uh-oh, what's going on? All right. Okay. Like I said, I'm still new to this whole live streaming thing, so I'm still kind of playing with all the tools and figuring out the right way to lay things out so that I can make sure that things are working, but then also kind of stay engaged with you guys the whole time. So, still waiting. I run into this issue sometimes when I first start up. The emulator is not found the first time, so don't get discouraged. This is what I said before about how Android is one of those things where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but trust me, once you get it going the first time, things will get better, if that's any sort of encouragement. But that seems to be kind of the behavior that I found with it. So let's try one more time to get this damn emulator. Oh, it looks like here it goes. Here it goes. All right. Gradle build running. App merge. Text library. I think we're getting to the point. All right, the build was successful. Still waiting for my device to come online. So this is usually where I just kill my emulator. It will die. And yeah, so you get this error, my emulator's gone, and then we try to fire up the emulator again. Or am I gonna have to just completely restart this damn emulator? Let's see if we can get it to work this time. So for everyone who's just dropping in, I'm just trying to show the power of Ionic and Capacitor and get this application running on Capacitor. Get this application running on my emulator. All right, let me try powering down the phone, which I did not want to do. While that's playing, we can do is we can pop back over here and let's take the other route. And so we can do an Ionic cap run and iOS and get that build going. Hopefully my machine doesn't completely overheat from me trying to get an Android build and iOS build done at the same time. Let's come back to Android. Sorry. Here's my, come back to Android, see what's going on. Okay, it's this emulator. It does not seem to, oh, here it goes. All right. So my emulator's up and it's running and it's happy. So now let's try again to run my Android version of the app. Okay, so it looks like it's working. It's trying to install the app. So we're good there. See what we got going on the iOS side. So iOS is installing. I have a pretty decent iMac. What do I got cooking here? this Mac. So I got 48 gigs of RAM. Hopefully that's enough to keep this going, but we'll see. It's installing. All right, guys, don't fail me now, or am I just trying to ask too much from running iOS and Android at the same time? Okay, what's going on in my logs? Running. All right. We're seeing some activity here. So my device is trying to get going. All right, here we go. So the install is successful there. Oh, it's complaining about. Oh, yeah, that's some, we don't care about that. It's dropping a little bit too much noise, so let's put this down to just debug. Let's close the app and try to start it up again. I think I was being a little too ambitious trying to get my iOS and my Android to run at the exact same time. But finally we have capacitors running now. Okay, come on, Android. You can do it. All right. Wow. Okay. So we now have our app running on our device, and I'm I mean, this was just painful the first time. The first time is usually takes a little bit longer to get everything set up, but then Android, the development environment, is pretty good at caching things. So here's our app again with our UI. We get our dialog that comes up. We can enter our text. See if my date control pops up properly. And set my date here. My body. And so everything works. We get our alert on our cancel, not alert. We get our toast. So we get the UI, and you see the purpose here was to show you the app running on device. And then also here's the same app running in the browser. And then for the trifecta, let's fire up my iOS device so that my machine doesn't completely choke. No, we're going to stick with Android. After we get the iOS version of the app running, we'll shut down Xcode, and we'll focus on just working with Android for the purpose of this live stream. So how far are we in here? Damn, 20 minutes just to get Capacitor and everything up and running. Like I said, I usually have a little bit of a challenge the very first time I try to get Capacitor running on Android. It's just, I'm not an Android guy. I'm not really that familiar with the tools. I know it well enough to get it working and to test stuff and to deploy apps for the store, but I would not say that it's my sweet spot. All right, so we have the iOS version of the app running here. Let's give this a minute to get going. Hey, first of all, thank you, whoever's out there listening and watching. Please make sure that you like and subscribe, and tell folks about the content that I'm putting out, because it's really important that I get folks to look at my content. I know that there's people out there who want to see more of this stuff, and so that's why I'm trying to put it out there for you. Also, a lot of it is related to the work that I do every day at my job. For folks who don't know, I run a web and mobile development firm called Clearly Innovative Inc., where we focus on building solutions for large clients and small clients. We've been working with Ionic since the very first version of Ionic. So I have a pretty deep relationship with Ionic, just from being with it for so long. And what I mean by that is, you see folks who are having these battles about, what should you use? Ionic sucks, use React Native, blah, blah, blah. I mean, at the end of the day, to me, it's like you find a tool that works for you and use it, period. There's folks who love other platforms. That's great for them. But, I don't waste my time getting caught up in those platform arguments. I don't think there's much benefit that comes out of them. So I just like to build my stuff. Okay, while this was running, let's hop back to the application so we can start to kind of move forward there. And we'll pop back when, we'll give one more check. But still, what's going on in here? Why do I have two apps launching? Okay. Oh, I think it's trying to connect. All right. Yeah, let's give that. Maybe that'll help. So just so you guys know what's going on, my old application, I mean, normally I connect directly to my iPhone device, and it looks like it's trying to connect to my iPhone device also. Yeah, it's trying to connect to my iPhone device also, which is not what I wanted to do. So let me see, how do I get that device out of there? Yeah, it is connect. Well, all right. We can worry about that later because it looks like we connected here to my simulator, which is what I wanted. So here I have my simulator running a bunch of other solutions. Now we're finally launching the app that we wanted to launch. Let me make a note that if you're here for the fun, skip past 13-minute mark. So let's get this out of here. So not 13-minute. Where are we now in the stream? We're at like 24 minutes now. So we're gonna skip the first 24 minutes because that's all capacitor stuff. And then we start the coding at 24. Okay. Let's get, oh, sorry guys. Well, where is my app? Like I said, you get the same behavior the very first time you start the app on both iOS and Android. It's pretty slow the first time. And then after that, things kind of pick up its pace. It runs a little bit faster. So we'll check back in a second. Okay, so as you can see, a whole bunch of files got added to the project. With Capacitor, all of these files are part of the project and should be checked into the GitHub repo. I will commit all of this code also, so you should have a project that's ready to go with Ionic, VueJS, and Capacitor if you pull out the source code that I've committed. Okay. So now that we've, oh, all right, here it is. So our app is running. Here's the list page, which was there before. Here's our add modal. Here's our add modal. It's kind of dragging. Enter some text. Select the date. It's like roulette. Enter a body. Well, that's interesting how the body on iOS is down at the bottom. That's why it's always important to test on both platforms. On Android, it kept it at the top here. It keeps it at the bottom. Then you save the modal and we get the input saved. Okay, so enough of that for now. We'll revisit deploying to the device at the end of the video, since I know how much time it takes, but it should run faster the next time around. Okay, so let's get to the code now. So what we want to do now is, if we look at the code here, you see that messages is where this data is currently stored. And then you will also see that the way, where is it? In home. So home just, it has this data.messages and get messages. So data.messages, here's all the messages, it has a type interface for it. And then it has just these two functions. This is kind of what I call in most of my applications a data service. It's just basically the interface between your persistence and your UI. And here they have these two functions, which is one to get all of the messages and the other is to find a specific message. Since they're just using a simple array, we'll follow that process. Also, what we're going to do is we're going to export a function called add message. They have get message. We're going to create add message. And we're just going to call it message info. And we're just going to say any, because we're not going to get into the middle of TypeScript right now. And then since we're going to write a real function, let's kind of set this up. Let's format this so everything looks better. Okay, so message info is going to get passed in. We need to basically, because as you can see, it's just working with an array. We can just take our array and just say messages dot no messages. That's what we want to get equals and then we're going to insert our object. That will be 1, 2, 3, everything from message info, because I believe I named it correctly, and then it needs an ID. And so we're going to also give it an ID. And the way that we're going to generate the ID is we are going to just do a new date get time. And I believe get time returns a number, which is what they are looking for an ID. And what is this subset about? Assign messages. Oh, messages is a constant. So let's change that. Actually, here's what we're going to, hold on, it's kind of getting a little hot. So let me just pause for a second here because I got this light on and got this heat on and everything's a little hot. So just give me 1 second here while I make a slight adjustment to some things. I will be right back. So, sorry about that. I was burning up. Okay, so hey, Mohammed, thanks for stopping by. Please make sure you catch it later. Oh, all right. So since this is a constant and we can't change it, we need to first, let's just try with the let. And then the other thing that's interesting that I think we're going to have to do is that since we need this to be reactive, because what I want to do is as I change this, I need my UI to update. We can, what's going on here? Now let's not get into reactivity yet. Let's just keep it simple for now. We don't want to get too crazy. So we're not going to make it reactive. We're just going to set it. And at the end, every time we insert an object, we're just going to call get messages again. We'll separate the reactive stuff for later. The purpose of this video is really to just focus on the integration of the UI. All right. So add messages. All we're doing is taking that data from here and adding it. And what we're going to do is we're going to just remove some of these so that we can see our own stuff getting added. We'll leave the first one in, but let's take the rest of these guys out. All right, so see, we just got these three. Let's just do a quick check to see if we got things going the way we wanted it to work. So let me just add a guy in here quickly. From me to you, date, done, body, save. Where did my guy go? Oh, because I didn't add the add message function. So let's add the add message function here inside of home. So if we come into home, module save, here's where we want to add the add message. So here they just do a get messages. We're going to do add messages or add message. Let's come down here, add message. And then we believe that everything that we want to add is in the event already. So we're just going to say add message and we're just going to pass the event as the info. Okay, let's see if this gives us what we want. So add from me to you, done, body. Input saved, but oh, and remember, because it's not reactive, I need to update it. So after we do this, we are going to call at startup. Let's see what they're doing at startup. So here they're doing get messages at startup and they're assigning messages. So what we want to do is after we add a method, after we add, where's my add? After I add the messages, when we're done here, we want to say messages equals get messages. Because like I said, it's not reactive. So we need to kind of force it to get the update here. And then since we're inside of our app, we have to use this. You don't need to use this in a template. So this should be, so now we have the me added. Why didn't it use my body to you? Let me see, am I naming my body incorrectly? Go back to messages from subject. Oh, lorem ipsum's the body for all of them. But what we want to do is we want to use our body. So let's go back to my home list and see what body's called. Get the message list message item, and then here they call subject. Oh, they're just hard coding it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say message.body. So now you're seeing it's actually getting the message if one was provided, and since we're providing a message, you're actually seeing it. So let's try this again with some real data. I mean, let's try it with some bigger data. So from new date, done, body, real data. Let's see if I can find some more text to kind of add to it. All right, so you can see the text with real data and the content listed here. So that should be fine. So everything looks good there. Let's hold on. I am live. I'm on video right now. I am on video right now. So now So we have that going. Okay, sorry about that. We are back. So my data is saved. Let's see if we can figure out, can we modify this data service kind of quickly to make it reactive? Because what you see is here, I had to go down here and after, where's it? After I add my messages, I need to call my messages again. Ideally, what we'd want to see is see them kind of get updated automatically, which would be kind of cool. We are in Vue. I'm getting my Vue and my React mixed up. So yes, since we're in Vue, I think I can just do this. Const messages, and I can say that it is ref type any, wrap it. I think if I do this, add the ref to my view, it's saying, oh, doesn't like that. All right, so now I have a references array, and then for my messages, I can just say messages.value. Here, messages.value. Find M, it's looking for types. Like I said, to keep the types out of this, I'm just setting everything as any. So now we have any. This is my lint, expecting it. Let's just format this. Let's make this a little bit so we get more space here. Oh, once again, I'm using value, so this needs to be value. So now it should be reactive. Let's see if it works. All right, so at least everything's working, the default. So now, since I'm using a ref here, and let's see if we can, instead of me trying to explain, let's just use our friend Google Vue 3 documentation. Zoom this up a little bit. Search ref reactivity and refs. So ref takes the inner value and returns a reactive mutable ref object. This object is assigned the value. It's made deeply reactive in a reactive method. So what that means is as I change my messages value, anybody who's watching or listening to messages and it changes, it will cause Vue to re-render. So since we've now changed messages to a const, since we now changed messages to a ref, and you see, oh, let me fix this here, messages dot value. No, I need to return the raw messages because that's what makes it reactive. So now we're returning messages. So now if I come back here, because that's why that worked. So now we come back. Well, let's just run it, see if everything worked. Test. You don't need any more data than that. Done. So oh, I got to remove that that update at the end. So inside of my home, where's my home? We should not have to call messages any longer. So let's run this again. Let's put some dummy data in to test this. Done. And we're getting our input updated, right? So what's happening is, so let's remove this. So get messages is returning my ref. As we saw, refs are reactive. When refs change, they force the UI to get updated. So when I add my message in here, add message. Let me save this. When I add my message, where is messages? When I add message, what I'm doing here is I'm taking the original ref, destructuring it. So I'm getting basically all of its values and adding it to the new value. Then I'm taking the info that got passed in, I'm adding an ID to it, and I'm appending my array. And then what you get, let's look at our Vue tools. We go inside of our app, come to our home page. We have our messages array that's getting passed to us, which has all of our objects. And that's exactly what we want it to do. And so let's set a breakpoint in here so you guys can kind of see what's going on also. So we set another breakpoint in here, and let me add another object from wire subject. It hurts. Date. Don't cut me. Save modal. All right, so it's saved. And then now I'm inside of what I will call, and folks who follow me, my data service. My data service gets passed all the information that it needs. Look at my debugger. So my message info, I get all the data that it needs. I'm going to generate my ID. If you can see messages, it's a ref. Here's its values, which is what we are working with. So we're going to append our guy to the end of that. Let's step over this. So now if we look inside disclosure, we find our messages, our ref. Let's look at its raw value. Its raw value is an array. Interesting, it's not a proxy because of the way I added it. So what's interesting is all these objects are references except my new object, which isn't a reference. I don't think that which isn't a ref. I don't think that should cause a problem for us. But as you can see, it got added to the item. And once again, since refs are reactive, I don't need to do anything else. Once I move forward, the list page, since it's rendering the messages ref, it recognizes that the ref was updated and it will automatically re-render the page. I mean, this is one of the key things about working with reactivity inside of Vue and inside of React and these other things. And it's also one of the reasons why people say they don't really understand if you need Vuex anymore. I think I've already done a talk or a video on why I still think Vuex is useful. I think it'll be more useful once they actually get the dev tools working on it. There's no support for Vuex in the current set of dev tools, which I think takes away a lot of its value. Most of the apps that I'm writing right now, I am not using Vuex. I'm kind of managing my store through data services and using reactivity like I've done here kind of with this messages ref. The important thing to note is that is really just a reactivity. So, and then let's just do, just to be complete, since we're here, let's do a delete message. I think we can leverage the find to create our delete. Let's do that. So we got a delete message, we get the ID, find. I think the right way to, I always get confused on this. I think the right way to do it is, I think if I filter it. Yeah, let's try filter message. Then we get each one of them, m.any. And then what we want to do is, come on, give me my paren. Hey, this is great. I've learned a lot from Vue. Hey, thanks, Tim. Hopefully you have. That's what I'm trying to do. Feel free to leave some comments on some other things that you'd like to see. I have a lot of stuff that's bouncing around in my head, but that's what I think is important. I'm curious to see what other people who are just trying to get started with this find important, and maybe I can create some good content for you guys. All right, so let's put this parentheses around here. Sorry, not parentheses, bracket. Okay, and so inside of here, what we're going to do is to delete the message. We're looking, why is this? What am I doing wrong? Message, filter. Sorry, I need the bracket. Any. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the object that doesn't have the ID that got passed in. So I think what I want to do is say, I always get this backwards. Is it the true or the false that we're looking for? So we want to filter out anything if m.id is equal to id. Then I think we want to remove it. Like I said, I always get this stuff backwards. Oh, I got an extra one of these. Oh, needs this. Save, format. Let's put a comment. Put some comments. Format this guy again. It's easy to read. I think that this is going to return. So this is const result st, and then I think what we need to do at this point is then we need to reset messages dot value back to result. I think that's what we need to do. All right, and first we're going to do an easy delete, and then we're going to add some a better UI to the delete, so that you can see once again the benefit of leveraging Ionic framework to make something look pretty professional. Okay. So for now, we're just going to go back to my home view, and we are going to add a. So you can see here in this list, we're going to add an ion button. And then another ion button. Why is it there? I need another button inside of my list item. So let's do this. So I cut that. Let's go into our list item. Oh, well, they're doing a lot of craziness in here. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. Is that our button? We don't. Let's see if I can get it to go below. I don't want to get all caught up in rows and columns. All right, that's not going to push it. I think I need to put it inside the label to get it pushed to the bottom. So let's take it out of there, put it there. Okay, so now we get it pushed down to the bottom. Format it. Size. Small. SMALL. So we let it get a smaller button. You know, let's get our danger in there. Danger. Okay, and for folks who missed it last time, let's do it quickly again here. Let's talk about emitting events. So what we can do is, so on methods here, delete. So say on delete. And then I think this is going to work. This is where I get a little on delete. What is that? Emit delete item, and then all I want to pass back is, where's my item? iMessage ID. Let's see if that works. I know I'm going to run into some type issues around getting access to this. So why am I getting, let's do this. Message on delete. I don't want that. How did I solve this last time? I had the same problem here. Maybe did this. Oh, that's it. So let's just do this. All right, what are you complaining about here? So this $. Where's my emit? Oh, there it goes. This dot emit. And then this needs to be a payload. So then what we're going to say is ID this dot message dot ID. Why are you complaining about this in here? Oh, because it's a props. This, sorry, my bad. It's a prop, so I think this needs to be this dot props. Okay, this is what I get for not. I don't work with this style very often anymore. Why is this? Oh. Okay, now I'm confused. Let's write this dot message dot ID. Okay, what? Oh, it thinks it might be undefined. That's what's going on. This dot message ID. So that it was confused because it wanted me to put the kind of Elvis expression, which is what I call this, in case the object wasn't defined. So now what I'm going to do is when you click what I want to do is when you click this delete button, I want to emit this new event called delete item back to the parent, and then the parent will handle removing the object. So now since I've created this custom event, delete event, or delete item, I need to go back up to my parent, and I need to add that item. I need to add that custom event here. So what we're going to say is delete item call, and then just to kind of stick with the handle approach, we'll say handle item delete. And then we don't need to pass anything because we'll get the payload like we did on the other event, and that will have the ID of the object we want to delete. Now let's go down here and add our method. So we handle cancels. It's basically what the same thing we did before, but actually let's copy the code called to delete the item in response to delete item event emitted. So then we'll just say handle item delete. Actually, I should change that. Handle modal cancel. It's handle item delete. We get the information. We have no modal. We're gonna reuse our alert. So we'll say message user deleted item, because we want that. It's not a danger because the item's already deleted. We might add a confirmation alert, which I think would be pretty cool. So I think I'm going to do that. So we're going to say primary for here. And then what we want to do is, so we have our handle delete item, which will get called when the delete event is fired off from here. And then the last part is to actually delete the item. So let's do this. Delete message. Actually, let's be handle message. Let's be message delete. And then in here, let's say delete message. And then we need the ID that should come from this event. And so we can just say ID. Actually, we can just pass in the event ID. We need the ID from the event. Let me see if it works, and then if it works, we will circle back around and kind of walk through the code again to make sure everything's right. First, let's make sure it works. So let's delete Kelly Richardson. I know it's getting the parent click event. So what we need to do is we need to go back into our item and we need to move the click event down. So you see it's got this this router, it has a router link at the item level. And we have our button down here. So here's the item. We're still inside of the label. Let's just put a div around the stuff that we wanted the click to respond to. So let's do div. And we'll put the div around everything except our button. There's probably a better way to do this, but this is what we'll do for now. So we don't have to get too deep here. So, but I need my div to be inside the label and cover everything except the button. All right, so the div ends here, and then here's my button div. And then now we're going to take this router link and we're going to change it to a click event. And then on a click event, we are going to say this dot. Actually, I think I can just say router push. And then we're going to take this guy. It's complaining about, oh, it's complaining about me using those quotes inside of these quotes. So let's change this to this. Okay, it's complaining about message possibly undefined. Let's do that. Okay, let's see what we get. So if I click here, I should still go over there, but if I click here, why is it still, let me reload. Oh, because I didn't remove the router link. Can I just comment this out? No, I can't. So let's just delete it. So now let's reload. Delete. Okay, did it trigger? Did it emit my delete event? Let's actually, here's another thing we can show you with the Vue tools, which is kind of cool. It should show me my events that were emitted. I think it's this guy. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Let's move this up and out of the way. Component events. Let's see if we get any. What is this? I don't really like this tool, the way it does this now. It's kind of hard to find things. Let's click it. All right, so it says I had a component event fired, but I don't really know how to find things with this tool. Let's see. Maybe my event did not get triggered. Let's see. And I'm down here. Oh, I'm not telling it to call my function, so it's not going to get triggered. So let's do click. What's the function? Delete. Where's my function? Method on delete. Okay. Now let's try again. And let's delete Mo. So I deleted Mo. You saw my component event appear. So it got a component event. Yeah, they got to do some more work on this UI for this tool because it still seems kind of flaky. Like, why can't I scroll this thing up any higher? But as you can see here, I emitted my delete event, delete item event, got passed a payload. In that payload, it was passed an ID of the object that I clicked. So we know the event got sent. So now the next thing is to figure out, let's close this. Let's go back down here. So I know I emitted my event. Let's go to my home view. Am I listening for the right event? Oh, I changed the name of this function. Sorry, handle message delete. Let's try this again. So we want to delete Mo Shaman. Let's delete. Whoa! I think I have my thing backwards. This looks like it's just taken everything out of my messages. So am I doing my delete item correct? Hold on. Delete with filter from array. So I'm just going to cheat and see what people say. So people use a splice, which is interesting. And then people also use a filter. And then people use reduce. I like splice. It's straightforward. So let's do a splice, because I believe a splice performs the action on the same array. So let's do messages.value splice. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Messages.value.splice, and then we want to find it. So then we'll just call our other function, get message. And then we'll pass it our ID. Then we just want to delete that one. That makes sense. And then right here, let's do debugger. And then let's see what messages.value is. I think that's what we want. So let's try delete Matt. We stepped in. Messages.value, it's down to 2, so it deleted the item. Matt is gone. Let's see, does it give me my update automatically? Yes, it does. So yeah, and actually that looks a lot cleaner. So sorry about that. So Splice wins the award. So this is how we're, and so now I can just delete my items. Ooh, that did not seem right. Looks like there's an off by 1 on my delete for some unknown reason. Find the index, delete the item at that index. That doesn't make sense. All right, I know what's wrong. I'm doing a find, I'm not doing a find index. That appears to be making a difference. So let's change this. We're going to do find. Find index. So that will give me the index. Let's try this again. All right, that's right. I'll delete Matt. Okay, that's better. That's what we wanted. Now let's try us adding our guy again to make sure adding's working. Our guy's added, and now our guy is deleted. Okay, so that worked pretty cool. So we can add and we can delete items. Let's do. I'm a big fan of the swipe. So, let me see if how much time do I got. How long have I been going? I've been going an hour 6. Do I want to go a little bit longer? Yeah, let's go a little bit longer to see what else we can kind of throw in here to make this work. So we got to delete. We showed how to kind of create your own reactive state manager because I can add and update delete items in this array and my UI gets updated automatically. We've added the delete button. We've shown multiple ways to emit events from your components. I mean, and that's the coolest part about this is kind of if we look at our message list item view, is how we're able to kind of encapsulate functionality down at the level where it happens, and then just emit events from inside of the component. So we're just emitting the events out to the parent, and the parent's responding to them. Let's go. So what else do we have to do? So I can go to the detail page. When I add my guy from me to you, I gotta put all this data in. Grade modal. Go. I can look at the detail page. Detail page is still showing the old stuff, but let me fix the detail page just quickly here. So I think I am going to wrap it. I'm going to push the next stuff to tomorrow. I'll do one more tomorrow. I like some feedback. Do you want to see me put this data in Facebook? I was not trying to Facebook. The question is, and I'll add this also to the video when I post it. Do you want to see us convert this data service to use Facebook or some other backend? Now, give me a suggestion on some backend, and what we'll do is we'll save all this stuff into that backend, and we'll throw a login screen on top of it and kind of show how you'd manage the routing around that. Let's remove this guy from here. Message. Now let's throw some more UI, because this is what it's about. It's about the Ionic UI. So let's pull my favorite up. Ionic docs. Let's alert. IonAlert. I don't have any alerts. I just have a toast. Do I have alerts already in my modal? Let's see. No, I just have on home. What do I have on home? Message list, home view. Yeah, we have an alert. But we need a more complex alert. So here's what we're going to do. Why do I have alert info and I don't have an alert? Oh, it's a toast. Let's fix that. I know you do this. Change all occurrences. This should be toast info, not alert info. I think alert is very similar. So let's quickly take a look at an alert. Now we're going to throw an alert box in here. View. As I said earlier, I don't do this thing. I don't use the controller. I just think it's just too much. I like to keep it simple, put it in a template when I can. So here's an example of an alert. We're going to put a confirmation alert in before delete. Alert. We know what we want to say, so we don't need to go through all the work of passing in parameters and stuff like that. So we'll just keep this simple. Alert. Warning. Are you sure you delete this item? No custom class. We are going to handle our buttons separately because we want to be able to support an OK and cancel. So what we need to do is, where's that information? So buttons will get passed in. That's set. Is open. So let's call this delete del alert info. Well, let's be delete alert info. And so now we have our delete alert info. And how did we do it last time? Delete alert info show me. Let's delete alert info show me, and then on close, delete alert info show me equals false. And then our buttons, we're going to say delete alert info buttons. Okay. And then now we need to how we have our toast info. Let's have our delete alert info, then delete alert info, and then we go like that, and then we have the show me. It's false to start out, and then I think we have buttons. Our buttons. Yes, and I think for our buttons, I'm sorry, let's take this out. Like I said, we like our doc, so let's go back and see what the doc is. So the doc has a simple buttons with just an array, but we need want to handle it differently. So we're gonna basically take this approach to buttons. So let's take these. And we want to confirm the cancel or the okay. So this means no, I don't want to do it. And this means yes, I do want to do it. And then here, if you say okay, this is when we actually want to call the delete. So we're going to, inside of here, say, oh, this, actually, I think the way this doc is written is confused because it says confirm cancel, confirm okay. And sometime when I first started looking at this, I got confused at what it meant by the confirm. So here, let's just take the console log out. And then here we want to say this dot, and what is it called? Here's my delete function. Handle delete, handle message delete. Ah, this is interesting. Because the event's getting emitted directly, it's coming in here. And then my button needs to, how do I normally do this? Because before I actually delete, I want my button called. So handle message delete. Let's do this. This is probably a little bit more complicated than I wanted to do, but I think it should solve my problem. So what we're going to do inside of here is here we're going to take this, let's comment this out for now, because the first thing we wanted to do is we wanted to take our alert, delete, alert, sorry, delete. Actually, wonder what this might be one time where you do want to use this controller method, now that I'm thinking about it, but I started down this path, so let's go this way. So a delete alert info, and then we want to say, show me. Actually, no, I got it. Show me is true. And then my buttons. See, I don't need to put my buttons up in here. I just put a placeholder for my buttons, but I'm going to take my buttons from here. Take this out, buttons stay like that, and then down here I'll put my real buttons in. Hold on. Let's even, I think that we want to just make it like that so that I don't get these error messages. My first one, my second one, take that out of there. So now my buttons are right. We have my delete alert info, and then I can, and then what I can do is I can add, here's my delete. Where's my delete guy? All right, delete. I'll just type it again. Delete message. I think this needs to be. So where's the message from my delete message here? Yeah, that's what I want. Where am I? Where am I? Here, so I want to delete message, and then I want to use underscore event dot ID. So if you say okay, then delete the message, otherwise don't. And then also what I want to do is after you delete the message, then we need to come back. This probably should be broken out to a separate function. So we handle delete message, and then handle delete message, and then, yeah, let's do this. Do delete. Wait, let's do this. Delete message confirmed. Let's do it that way. Confirmed. Can I not spell? Yes, delete message confirmed. And then all we need here, we just need the ID. And let's just make it any because we're not getting caught up in TypeScript. And then clean that up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take ID is defined, but never use. We're going to use it. What we're going to do is we're going to take all of this stuff. Let's change this to delete message confirmed. I will walk back through exactly what I did once I get this working. Here, if they cancel, then we're just going to return. If they actually delete, we're going to take all this and put it in delete message confirmed. So we go up to delete message confirm. So if you actually delete, then confirm it. Up here, delete message, the ID. Let's clean it up. So this is called to delete the item in response. Let's delete the message. In response to delete item event emitted. We don't need to log that anymore. We don't need this. So let's show alert to confirm delete. So that's what this should do. And then here's all the buttons and everything that you need to handle it. Let's just, I don't think we need any of this stuff in there. We don't need this comment. Actually, I think I can honestly remove this. I'm not certain, but let's just comment it out for now. No, I can't remove the whole thing. I believe I can remove the handler. I think all I need is for it to just say okay or cancel. So actually, let's just try it. I can put it back if I'm wrong. I think here all I got to do is just say cancel. Just put a comma. Because I don't have any handlers, nothing I need to do. So I think I can just say cancel. And then if you selected OK, let's make it clear, cancel. So yes, delete message. And then this is cancel. Well, let's do it that way. All right, let's see what we get. Oh, I know what I did. No, I don't know. Why is this not working? All right, something's not right. I can see what my error is. I suspect I didn't import something that needed to be imported. Console tmap is not a function. Buttons changed. All right, what did it not like? Maybe it doesn't like that being in there. So maybe it's an all or nothing. So let me just do this. Hmm. Tmap, is that a function? All right, first of all, let me see, what are these complaints coming from? I don't have a button in my message list items, so let's add that. And then let me add that to my import. Okay. Refresh. IonAlert. Oh, well, that's critical. You don't have IonAlert. It's definitely not going to work. So let's add my IonAlert. And then let's add my IonAlert to my components down here in the bottom. And let's see if that helps us with our errors. All right, that seems to make everybody happy. Now let's see. So now I get my alert, which is my warning. Are you sure you want to delete this item? Yes, delete this message. No, cancel. So if I hit cancel, nothing should happen. If I yes, delete Matt. Yes, delete message. Matt got deleted. Oh, I need to see if I get my confirmation. Let's delete Kelly. Yes. User deleted. Delete. Cancel. Nope, I didn't get anything yet. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to do for today. You mentioned swipe delete would be interesting to see. Like you're showing on the back end, I think a back end. So Tim, what I'm going to do is, since I'm kind of creeping up to how many hours here? Yeah, I'm creeping up to almost an hour and a half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to swipe to delete tomorrow. And then I'm going to probably, yes, show how to save it to a backend. And then what I'll probably do is on the swipe to delete, I'll have a delete button and maybe like an add to favorites or something like that. So we can show how you can not only save it when you're adding, but kind of update it to say it's a favorites or something like that. But like I said, it's been about an hour and a half. My voice is kind of going and my coffee and water is not helping. I think there's a lot of stuff that I covered, and I want to take these last 15 minutes once again to show the integration with Capacitor, that everything's working fine. Like I did yesterday, I will commit this code. Let me see, where is this? This is my GitHub repo where I have tons and tons of content. So yesterday, where's this? So this is the project. It's called Ionic VueJS Livestream 1. Source coded video is listed here. The best way to track it is the commits. So right now, where am I? Where's my code? So I don't really get into the branch thing. I think it just gets kind of crazy after a while. Maybe what I'll do is I'll tag it. Maybe what I'll do, yeah, that's what I'll do is I will tag the commits, and then here I will kind of list. So this is I'll just have a part 1, and I'll just tag it part 1, and then for this part it'll be tagged part 2, so you can see the different commits that were added and what work was done for each one of the commits. Let's, as I said, since one of the things I wanted to cover here was Capacitor, let's kind of run all this stuff back to Capacitor and show that it is still working. I think I have Xcode still running, so I think I should just be able to go back to my terminal. Where is it? And I think Ionic app sync iOS. Let's see, does it? Yeah, so it's going to rebuild my application. And then I should just be able to open up Xcode again and show it running. And then we'll do the same thing with Android to make sure everything's fine. Thanks to the folks who actually showed up to see it live. Thanks for the folks who left comments. This will get posted And like I said, I'm probably going to do one more. We got a nice long weekend here, a good opportunity to kind of put some content out. And then, like I said, I also saw a tweet saying that people want to see more Vue content. It is something that I spend a lot of time doing. Most of you guys follow me, so you know that I have a lot of Vue content already, but I'm always open to suggestions on other content that I can put out. That'll be beneficial to you. Let's see. Let's update these dependencies. And maybe next time we'll actually work with live reloads so you can kind of see that in action too. All right, so it says it synced everything over. Where's my Xcode? Let's kind of run this guy again. Like I said, it's usually much faster the second time around. Now that I said that, it's going to take forever to run. I'm going to pitch one more time for folks who are just dropping in. My book, my Vue book. Please, please, please swing by and leave a comment. You can go to ionicviewbook.com. You can go to ionicviewbook.com, leave your name, your email. I'm really curious to see what people want to pay for it. And like I said, probably before the end of the month, around the end of the month, I'll drop a beta version of the first release of the book. Once you purchase the book, you get all of the updates for free. So don't feel like you're going to purchase an early version and then, not get all the updates and not get the real content. Fixes to the book will be based on feedback. So please, once again, go to ionicviewbook.com and give me some information on what you think would be helpful. Okay, we have our app launching. Finally, this is why live reload is cool, because I don't have to deal with kind of waiting for this reload every time. Let's refresh this guy here. All right, do we got our thing running yet? Nope. Come on. Well, while this is waiting to go, we can do an Ionic. We should be able to do a cap sync Android. So that should just be it's just pushing files over at this point. I think my computer should be able to handle files getting pushed, multiple files getting pushed. I guess it can't. It seems to be choking right now. Well, I guess I got IBS, I got YouTube, I got a bunch of other things all running at the same time. So I'm getting the beach ball, which is never a good look. You would think with 48 gigabytes of RAM that this would be a non-issue. Yeah, I got 48 gig. Why is this thing choking on me? As we're starting to wrap up, is anybody out there who has any comments, want to ask any questions, give some feedback? While we wait for the stuff to compile, that would be great. I think there's actually a couple of people still kind of hanging on and watching. Because I did not think it would take this long to spin this up. I think the problem is it's still trying to connect to my damn cell phone. Let's do this. Let's turn off my cell phone and see if that makes that problem go away. Now I'm like giving you guys a very bad vibe on Capacitor. I think I got greedy and tried to do too much at once. So let's close it. Oh. What happened? Let's close Android Studio. Let's terminate that process that's running. let's quit Xcode. Stop that. What's the foolishness that's going on? Let's quit this guy. All right, all that stuff's gone. Now let's start and just try to run Xcode. Let's not try to do too much stuff at once. Xcode. Like this is the reality of what it's really like to be a developer, not the kind of edited out bullshit and challenges that you run into when you're trying to code, like your machine getting wonky on you for absolutely no reason at all when you have a bazillion gigs of RAM. Like, this should not be happening. I don't think that OBS is, yeah, it's only using 24% of my CPU, so this does not make any sense why everybody's struggling to run. Let's see what that. Just something clearly is causing my machine to choke. Oh, it looks like it's OBS. It's why is it using so much of the CPU? Interesting. Microsoft Edge is also taking a lot too. That makes no sense. Is Xcode ever gonna? All right, Xcode's open now. So open recent. Simulator. Let's try and run this guy. See, this is how quickly it should happen. Like that. Just run and launch. But it's still trying to access my other device. Let's just unpair it. There you go. Okay. This is frustrating. I've never really tried to run all of these things at the same time. And this might be the reason why. I wonder if these M1 Macs are going to solve this problem, because this is just completely unacceptable in my opinion. And I apologize. I thought 48 gig was enough to kind of keep this thing going. All right, so let's test everything on device. So once again, this is on device from save modal saved alert. Here's the information, detail page, back, delete, confirmation, cancel, not delete, delete, yes, delete message, item deleted. So that's what we get running on iOS. All right, let's quit everything this time and not try to be too ambitious and see. So let's quit this on browser because we've already seen that run. Let's open up Android again. Where did oh no, so that's gone. So where's my terminal? So let's kind of kill this node version running here. I'm going to try and kill anything that might be taking memory so we can have a much better experience with Android. So now, where's my terminal? Let's go back to my terminal. So cap open Android. Hopefully Android should be better because we already have the emulator open. Let's launch Android Studio. Okay, that project is open. Close. Okay, Android doing. Okay, now let's just run it. Okay, it's installing. Okay, for people who just popping in now, this is I'm kind of about to end the stream, but what I'm trying to do is, because this is about Ionic framework, VueJS, and Capacitor, I want to make sure that I show at the end of every kind of section of code or functionality that I show the solution actually running on device. We just went through the painful process of getting it to run on iOS. I think the problem was that I got crazy and I had OBS running, I have YouTube running, I have Visual Studio Code running, I'm running the app in the browser, and then I tried to run it with Xcode and Android Studio all at the same time. So I won't do that again. As you can see, Android started up a lot quicker because I shut everything else down. So in the next video, I'll make sure I shut everything else down before I try and run on device. But here's the UI. We have our default items that were here. We have the ability to add items. Oh, I'm sorry, touching a hotkey. We have the ability to add items. You need to enter some data because I'm kind of checking to make sure before I enable it. See how the body tags up here? I need to fix that on iOS. And then we can save the entry. Here you see the entry saved. You can go to the detail page for this, for the new entries. You can delete. I show you how to implement the alert. We can cancel, we can delete, and then we can confirm it, delete it, and get the toast at the bottom. From a code perspective, as a wrap up here, we, once again showed how to create our own custom events. We have our own custom click event that my message list item is triggering. When you click on the event to delete, we pass the payload of the ID you're trying to delete. We added, what did we add? We added the delete message here. And we have the same pattern that I've used before, where we modify an object. We change the show to hide and we set the appropriate information. On cancel, there's nothing to do, but if you do want to delete, then the delete handle calls this new message, new method, delete message confirmed. And then up here, we delete the message and we display the toast on success. The other thing that we did was we modified our messages to kind of be more reactive. So what we did was we introduced the use of the ref, and we stored our messages in an array, and this is a reactive array. So as we add items and as we delete items, this reactive value is updated, which causes our UI to automatically re-render. So that's why you see when I actually delete an item, the list just updates by itself. It's because it's watching or utilizing this message's value, which is reactive. Like I said, I'm going to wrap it up there. I will commit all this code. I will put the link in the text. Thanks everyone who stopped by. Please hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Give me your feedback on it. Share with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Bye.